Good evening and welcome to beautiful Lake Erie Speedway in Northeast Pennsylvania. I'm Ben Bruno. We're doing a little bit of a something special here for you guys. Before we get our top 32 kicked off for round number 4 of the Great Lakes ProAm series presented by Moty's, I got a really special opportunity to interview Adam Heisman, winner of East 10 Drift. He has received his Pro Spec license and he will be headed to Pro Spec competition in 2024. So just wanted to do something a little bit different here as we get the stream going. Let some viewers jump in and kind of give you guys at home or whether you're here at the Speedway a little bit of insight of what it's like to be a Pro-Am drifter and, like what kind of goes through the minds of these guys as they get ready to compete at the highest level of drifting that there is in the United States. Obviously Pro Spec is a feeder series to Formula Drift, to get those guys more apt to, the car setup and different stuff like that. But I'm no expert, and I have one with me. It is Adam Heisman. He will be competing in 2024 Formula Drift Pro Spec competition, as I stated previously. Without further ado, Adam, thanks for joining me in the booth today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, just to get started, tell the people about yourselves a little bit, like where are you from, how long you been drifting, stuff like that.
From little town of Newville, PA, about 5 hours from here. Started drifting actually when I was in college. I went to University of Northwestern Ohio, went for high performance. Was doing autocross events, and there was guys drifting the autocross course. And that's when I took my V6 Mustang with an open diff and started drifting. So that kind of snowballed into when I got out of college, buying my Mustang I have now and just doing it for fun. And then I found competition drifting and then kind of took my life over. So
previous to you kind of getting to be a part of these autocross events that was that like really your first exposure to any type of drifting at all?
Yes. When I had my Mustang when I was in high school, I would definitely throw it sideways on some back roads, but I didn't know it was actually drifting. I just knew I was having fun and roasting tires off. I found drifting when I was at college, and a couple of my buddies were like, hey, this is what we do. We go shred tires, and I just loved the feeling of being sideways and being in control of a out-of-control car.
Awesome. So how long ago was the first time that you ever went to, say, like a more organized drift event?
So I started college in 2013. My first event, like legit drift event, would probably be like 2014 because I was drifting like those autocross events. And then a couple buddies of mine found a track up in Ohio that was having a legit drift event. And I took a bone stock V6 Mustang, open diff, no angle kit, no hydro to the track, and just shredded tires.
That's awesome, man. That's exactly why I wanted to do this. It's for everybody at home, I think it can seem like a far-fetched thing, right? How do I get my hands on a drift car? How do I get into this community, and how do I do it? And I'm sure that, whether you went back and watched some live streams or you caught it during the live stream, I talk a lot about, if you're watching the live stream, why don't you jump in the car, come on out here, because, the pits are a wealth of knowledge, right? And everybody, everybody's almost got something for sale too.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's a whole car or a motor,
yeah.
You could piece together a drift car in the pits of a Matt's Erie or a Great Lakes Pro-Am weekend, really, So, it just goes to show you how easily obtainable and how easily you can get into drift. Adam Heisman's going to be in Pro Spec next year, and in 2014 he was drifting a V6 open diff Mustang with no hydro at autocross events. So it really goes to show you just how accessible it can be. So then from there, so 2014 you make your first drift event, V6 Mustang. From there, when was it that you were like, man, I'm pretty good at this and I think I need to compete?
Competing wise, I know it would be 2018 is when I built a legit car. When I say a legit car, it was still a 4.6 V8 making like 190 to the wheels, and it had a handbrake and angle. That's it. And so I actually went to my semi-local track. It's Drift Nirvana at Summits Point. I went there, and we just drove for fun. And then, it's Drift Evergreen in Drums, PA. Went there, and they would have $20 money comps. So you go, you spend $20 to get in the pot. No tire changes, no one more times, no competition timeouts, and you just go have fun. And I went there, started competing there, won a couple events. And then my buddy Alan, that holds AMA Motorsports events, had a comp, again, still stock 4.6, making 190. And he had a money comp where actually Nate Chen, Alex Licklider, and some other big names were at this comp. And I went there with my little 190 horsepower Mustang, and I actually won an event. And that's when a couple guys came up to me. He's like, man, you need to build a car and actually do some more comps. So that's when I actually decided to go LS. And that's when I'm like, well, let's see what happens. Last year, I entered Drift Nirvana's Rival Series and actually won 3 out of the 4 events, winning the championship. And that's when I went, okay, maybe I should just do this ProAm thing and see if we can get into FD. And here we are with my FD license, and time to spend even more money and do this FD stuff.
Yeah, and again, congratulations to you on grabbing it. I know it wasn't easy. You know, some of those guys that you're drifting against, I mean, you know, previous pro spec drivers, previous pro guys, you know, guys that stepped away from that level of drifting, you know, because of money and different stuff like that. So, you know, no shortage of competition for you through the way. And I mean, you know, I guess if you had to attribute, you know, early on in your success, you know, through, you know, the Rival Series and different stuff like that, like, what would you attribute your success to?
Having fun. It might sound weird, but at least for me, when I compete, my success comes when I don't overthink things and I just pretend I'm out there shredding with my buddies. And I feel Assetto Corsa kind of helped me with that, because you get on Assetto and
we're going to have to hop on some Assetto.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm on Assetto a lot. But you get on there and you could be drifting with Chelsea Denofa's car, but it's not Chelsea Denofa. So it kind of, heck, when I was at East 10, I mean, you see these guys roll in with these toters and all these big cars, and they got quick changes. Like, I don't got a quick change still. I don't got a dog box. They come in with a pro spec ready car, and it could really throw you off and be like, man, I don't have the car they do. But one great thing about drifting is it's not the car that wins the event, it's the driver. So it's not like drag racing where it's your fastest time. I mean, you got to have the skills. So, I mean, driving Assetto, it kind of makes me think, okay, yeah, that's a really great car over there, but it's just a car. It's just a person. Let's just go shred. Let's go put on a show and just throw it on the door. So my success comes from just having fun.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, it was almost a baited question, you know, like that I think that's what everything comes down to, right? It's like, if you're not having fun doing it, like, why are you still doing it, right? You know,
100%.
So it's more than anything, you just got to have fun doing it. And in particularly, you know, I think drifting's a little bit unique to that, where in other things, like if you're solely going to do it to have fun and you don't have the money to back it up, you're just not going to compete well, you know? So it's pretty interesting. So, you know, as we're getting ready to get through, you know, driver introductions here, and we're running out of time, but so I probably have some more questions for you that throughout the live stream, if we have some time, we can, you know, just kind of pick your brain a little bit. But, you know, so what is it, you know, moving forward into ProSpec, what are you most nervous or excited and happy about getting into the ProSpec ranks?
The most nervous is probably the interview stuff we're doing now. When I'm in the car, man.
Getting you ready.
Oh, yeah, this is. I mean, I need to do more stuff like this. I need to do more interviews and getting used to being in front of the camera. I mean, when it comes to the driving part, and I'm not saying I'm not worried as in, like, I feel like I'm going to go and just kill everybody there. But I'm not worried because I know I can at least hang with the guys. I can drive. I feel I can drive. This interview stuff, man, it's new to me.
Yeah, that's funny. And you know, I think you're absolutely right? It's, if you don't have the confidence, if you don't believe in yourself that you can go out there and hang with the best of the best, then you probably won't.
Yep.
You know, if you think that you're going to go out there and, hey, I'm going to win ProSpec this year, you know, not even to be cocky about it, it's just, you're going to bring a certain level of success to what you're doing on the track too. So
100%. I mean, my father always said he kind of instilled in me really early when I played baseball. A lot of stuff is mindset. And if you go in there and you're nervous and you're like, man, I'm not going to win this, well, you're not going to win this. If you go in there and have a positive attitude, think positive things happen, think negative things happen. So it's just, I mean, with life and especially with drifting, and it's just a positive attitude and thinking positive and being like, I can do this is 90% of it.
Hey, Rob, do I have another minute? Okay. All right, so we're winding down here, getting ready for driver introductions, but so one last quick question for you before we get you out of here and get going. And if we have a minute, I'll get you back up. We'll ask you some more questions and kind of just pick your brain a little bit. But so what are you doing to get ready for Pro Spec? What's changing? I'm sure it's more than just car stuff. It's the rig, it's the trailer, it's all kinds of different stuff. What do you got to do to get ready to go travel across the United States and win some money?
Yeah, there's a lot more than just the car that needs to be getting ready for FD. I mean, there's a lot of back half stuff. I mean, heck, we got a website that's going up. We got merch that's going to be going up. We got proposals to go to PRI to get sponsorships, new trailer, new truck. I know we're putting in dog box, quick change, rear rad, fuel cell. I mean, there's so much that goes into FD. And, I mean, you just got to be prepared for that. I mean, everybody sees what goes on the track. I mean, there's 90% of the work is behind the scenes, and it's just getting you prepared to go. So there's a lot of work, but it's definitely going to be worth it when I'm standing on top of the hill, Road Atlanta, for my first Pro Spec round.
Yeah, that'll be exciting, and I'm sure a lot of people here and a lot of people all over, this coast of the United States are going to be watching and rooting for you. Before we get you out of the booth, is there anybody that you want to thank, any sponsors, any in particular people that, hey, I got to this point with these people? It might not even be sponsorship, it might be mom and dad.
Yeah, I mean, my parents have definitely helped me out a lot. I mean, they've been a big supporter of this from the beginning. My father is a big support. I mean, a lot of what I have, I'm very spoiled. I'll be the first person to say I'm spoiled. I mean, he's done so much for me, my siblings, and my mom. And then other people, I mean, my friends that come out, I mean, I don't pay them, but just for them to come here and crew for me is a big thing. I mean, I can't, it's just one driver out there, but it takes a team to get the car out there. So I can't thank my friends enough. And then a couple of sponsors. Steve Mass is actually my ankle kid. He's actually going to be my very first sponsor for the car. It's called Wise Fox, and that's the ankle kit I run on my Mustang, but he's a big supporter of this.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me up in the booth before the top 32 for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Round 4. Everybody, this is Adam Heisman. He will be competing in Formula Drift Pro Spec in 2024. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, if you want to stay in here, you're more than welcome to. All right. If everybody could please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthems.
True
A really cool display here with that RC plane flying streamers off the back of it for the United States national anthem. Oh, you ready to go, baby? You ready to go? We need more beer. All right, so to get us underway, our first competitor in his BMW powered by a 5-liter Coyote, one of the most unique builds here on the starting lineup. Everybody give it up from Chad Anderson. Our second competitor here in the top 32 for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Moty's will be Alan Boss in his LS9 powered 350Z.
Next up, we've got Kevin Ferraro in his BMW. Followed by another Kevin Madden in his LS Power 240.
Up next, we will see Casey the Hawk Rodriguez in his LS-powered 350Z. He hails from Fremont, Ohio. Up next, we will see Troy Manners in his 1JZ powered 240SX.
Up next, we've got Mike Sampson in his BMW E30, LS powered E30. And next to Mike, we've got the one and only, the notorious Matt McCallion with his K24 powered 350Z.
In his Turbo LS powered 240, we will be seeing Brian Bubash. Another LS powered S chassis here on the starting grid. Up next, we will see Mike Steele.
Next up, we've got Ryan Reese in his 1998 Toyota Chaser with a 1JZ. And next to him, we've got Tony Schmidt in his Corvette.
Our next competitor, he comes all the way from Michigan in his freshly LS swapped BMW. This is Paul Robinson. Another car on grid with more Chevy power under the hood. We're going to see Andrew Wilder in his LS swapped FRS.
Next up, we've got Jeff Clark in his Ford Mustang. Followed by Blake Doge in his 240 Turbo LS powered car.
In that beautifully, vibrantly painted 240, we are going to see Savannah Campbell. in his white BMW. He's got God's motor, the BMW V8 under the hood. Jacob Schuster.
And last but certainly not least, Xander Nappy in his BMW M3, 2JZ powered M3. So that's our lineup, guys. We got quite an array of cars out there. We got lots of talent out there, and I'm excited to see them lay down some laps. Let's get into this competition, Ben.
Absolutely. If you're watching on the live stream on Facebook or YouTube, make sure right now, before the action gets going, that you tag your friends, give the stream a share, and get everybody going. We'll get this live stream pumped up real good. We like to have a lot of fun. These drivers are going to have a lot of fun. You heard from Adam Heisman. He will be competing in 2024 Prospect competition. The key to success is just having fun. You don't need 1,000 horsepower. You don't need a dog box. You don't need a quick change rear end. All you need is a car that can drift with a locked up rear diff and have a little fun. So who's ready to have some fun? Lake Erie Speedway. Everybody, this is going to be a show. Whether you're at home or at the track, make sure that you don't miss out on the action. As I mentioned, make sure that you give the stream a share, tag a friend that needs to be here, and don't forget to follow on all social media pages. You can find Drift PA Ohio New York on Facebook so that you don't miss any of the Drift PA Ohio New York events during the year. Just grassroots drifting with the Great Lakes ProAm series tied on to the weekend. Also, make sure that you stop in to the Lake Erie Speedway social medias on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you have any questions or you'd like to sponsor the Speedway or Drift events, shoot us a message. We would be glad to accommodate you. So as we take a look on the screen during the live stream, we're taking a look at the layout. If you missed qualifying, if you live under a rock, then you don't know we're running the Formula Drift layout that FD ran at the Speedway here just, recently here a year ago, 2 years ago. So it's rather challenging. If you got to watch the FD drivers go at it here at Lake Erie Speedway, it wasn't even easy for them. So these guys, being at the pro amateur level, really trying to get into their paces to make that step into Prospect. So as you can see, we're going to start back there in the backstretch. We're going to head down the backstretch wall, which you're seeing on live stream right now, and head down into turn number 3, where you're going to see 3 hard white lines down on the racing surface. Those are your 3-2-1 cones, essentially, for initiation. You have to initiate before that third line on the track into outside zone number 1. Outside zone number 1 fills all of turns 3 and 4, coming into the front stretch where we get into a little bit of a decel zone into outside zone number 2, where you're going to see these guys hanging big angle, transitioning back to left and back to outside zone number 2. And then it's pretty much on throttle from outside zone 2 into outside zone 3 through the finish line in the bottoms of the bank of turn 1 and 2. If you haven't had the experience of joining us for the Great Lakes Pro-Am series, just to give you a little bit of insight of, when you're watching, what the judges might be looking for and why a decision might be made. The judges are really looking for, just total commitment, right? So jump into outside zone 1, be right up against the wall from the immediate start of the zone all the way through the zone. Don't leave it early. Fill all of it. Get out outside zone number 1. Nice and smooth transition into outside 2. Stay through outside zone 2. Fill all of outside zone 2. And get out of there to outside zone 3, which through qualifying we saw some people struggle with getting into outside zone 3 early and often. So, want to get there where you can see diagonal lines painted through the beginning of the box being the starting of the zone. and get in there immediately, stay in there all the way through the zone, and finish through the finish line in that zone. So the two biggest areas of struggle that we saw so far through qualifying, through practice, initiating into outside zone 1, being right there against the wall and keeping it there. The banking just wants to add grip to the car and drive you straight down the banking. The lower you get down the banking, the less banking there is, so the less grip there is. So at the top of the banking, you have the most grip that you could possibly have. So, get into outside zone 1, stay there, stay all the way through there. And then, outside zone 2 has been a relatively, it's not easy, but it's been the easiest point in this layout. So through outside zone 2, set yourself up good to get into outside zone 3 as soon as it starts and carry it all the way through. And that's going to be your formula for success when you're in the lead. On the chase, the judges are looking for, good proximity, but maybe even more important than that, be smooth, follow the line, follow the angle, hit your zones. So, even if there's a lack of proximity, let's have a nice clean run, fill the zone behind them, follow their angle, follow their line, and get the job done. So without further ado, we didn't get a normal start to our stream here. I'm Ben Bruno, joined in the booth by Brian O'Connor. It's going to be our last time this year. Brian, what are you looking for today in our top 32 and final round 4 of competition for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series?
So unfortunately, Ben, it looks like we're only going to have 18 drivers tonight, 18 or 19. I don't know if I counted right. But, a little bit lacking for the top 32, which is a little bit unfortunate. There's a lot of good competition out here. Would be great to see, more competitive people showing up to show out and, give us a little bit more to see. But we definitely have some talent out there. It's definitely going to be a good time. I think we're going to see a lot of very talented drivers. I think we're going to see, hopefully, not too much carnage on that outer zone 1 there. And hopefully people could clean it up a little bit on outside zone number 1 coming into outside zone number 2. So as we were speaking about before we went on break, that was a little bit of like an unsettling point for certain cars. It was kind of like upsetting the suspension a little bit. So hopefully people, did whatever they needed to do to kind of get their cars to, glide over that transition a little bit easier and make it a little bit more consistent for them. So that way, while they're driving, it feels a little bit better. Looks like we're going to have Blake Doge and Savannah Campbell coming out here for our first competition run of the night.
Absolutely correct. So if I'm not mistaken, we're going to run through. We had a lot of buy runs here in top 32 because we just did not fill the 32 as much as we would have liked to. So if I'm not mistaken, we're going to run the 3 battles of top 32. I don't believe that we're going to be running the buy runs. And then we'll get into the top 16. So as you had mentioned, up first, we're going to see Savannah Campbell and Blake Doge. Blake will be in the lead. Savannah will be in chase. And while we're waiting for those guys to get launched off, just a quick shout out to our sponsors, Moty's for being the presenting sponsor for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Also Formula Drift for backing the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And then, of course, Link ECU. The top 3, which will be crowned here today, will be receiving a Link ECU, courtesy of Link ECU. And the winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will be walking away today with their right and bragging rights to compete in Pro Spec competition next year in 2024 alongside Adam Heisman. So Blake Doge, turbo V8 LS power under the hood. Savannah Campbell, turbo KA under the hood. So quite a difference here in power plant and power amount. Savannah's car beautifully painted, beautifully kitted up. Lots of really great sponsors behind her to get her out here for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Battle number 1 is off of the top 32. Blake Doge out front. He's a little bit low through outside zone number 1. Perhaps missing all of outside zone 1. Savannah doing everything that she can do to keep up with that lower line. Could be difficult. Savannah doing a good job. Oh, a straighten in the chase from Savannah in outside zone 3. I just got to feel like she was doing everything that she could there. Basically everything that she needed to do, to give an active chase against Blake there with not the greatest lead run to follow. As you can see here on the replay, Blake just misses outside zone 1. And Savannah's right there with him, basically on the same line. She juts a little bit low here, but doing everything she can to chase the lead that was given to her. And then into outside zone number 3, Blake did a really good job of filling all of 3. And then Savannah maybe just bogs down the turbo there and unable to keep it in drift. Not sure if it was a complete straighten or not, so we'll see what happens here. But the roles will flip. Now Savannah will be out front. Blake will be in chase.
Going to be interesting to see with the horsepower deficit, Blake chasing Savannah here, especially considering I think she's only going into second gear, so Blake's going to have to be very cognizant of that. I think you can see he's kind of staying back a little bit further just to play it safe.
So Savannah a little bit low through outside zone number 1. You can see Blake, he cuts the line really hard here. Savannah gets all out of shape into outside 2 and loses it, so Blake has to abort his chase run. See what kind of decision gets made here from the judges of, if that's an incomplete from Savannah in the chase and then an incomplete in the lead as well, or if there was something subsequent that, caused that to incomplete. Taking a look at the replay here, you see Savannah getting a huge angle and then into those bumps right there that Brian talked about and just unable to stay within track limit, and Blake aborts. So,
And that's something we haven't really touched on today, but we've touched on it quite a bit previous events. It's very important with accident avoidance. So, unanimously we have Blake Doge winning. So Blake Doge will take the win for the first competition run of the night. Next up, we've got Jacob Schuster and Jeff Clark. 2 very different chassis. They might be similar in horsepower. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the V8 BMW world of things. Maybe Aaron Lyon can hit me up in the chat. Let me know what's going on with this, V8 BMW type stuff. But should be pretty interesting here to see how these guys run. We got a 5.0 Mustang and a M60 B30 God's motor.
Lights go on, lights go out, and they are off. Jeff Clark in the lead. Jacob Schuster in chase. Schuster just not having the launch he was looking for. Did not see that through practice. Jeff doing a good job here. Jeff hits all of outside zone number 2 and outside zone number 3. He's in it. Jake just kind of struggling back there, after not getting the launch he was looking for, just wasn't able to get proximity, and then it just seemed like maybe he was struggling a little bit. So maybe a little bit of a gremlin here for Jake Schuster in his first battle against Jeff Clark. Winner of this battle will face off against Alan Boss in top 16. Blake advancing in that first battle will put him up against Chad Anderson in top 16. So now the roles will flip as we take a look at the replay here. Just Jake didn't get the launch that he needed, and it really just kind of shot him in the foot. He didn't even do a bad job of, hitting the line or anything like that. Just as we talk about, if you struggle in the first zone, which wasn't the case just on the launch. So Jake out front, he initiates into outside zone number 1. Jeff doing a great job in chase here. Good proximity, Good line mimic, good angle mimic. Down here into the middle. This is this is an interesting spot. Jake leaves the course completely into outside zone number 3. So we'll see what happens here. I guess, as a commentator through our round so far, I would imagine that our white lines would indicate off course would be 3 off course. So 3 off there for Jake, as a matter of 4 off, I believe. So that's going to be an incomplete for Jake in the lead, unfortunately. Jeff did a good job on the chase there too, so we'll see what happens here, but should be a Jeff Clark win.
Alrighty, so Jeff Clark unanimously takes the win. Jeff Clark with the win.
So as we get ready for this next battle, we're going to see Andrew Wilder in his LS-swapped FRS against Xander Nappy in his JZ-powered BMW E36. Andrew Wilder out front, Xander Nappy in chase. And they're off. Andrew Wilder into outside zone number 1. He gets nicely into outside zone number 1. That banking drives him right down. Xander doing everything that he can to keep up here. Oh, that looked like 3 off maybe in the chase position there from Xander. Andrew doing what he needs to do here out front. So maybe it looked like it from here. I don't have the all-seeing eye by any means, but looked like maybe an incomplete in the chase position by Xander from outside zone 1 into outside zone 2. We'll see on the replay here.
Yeah, let's check it out here. Let's see what we've got. I'm kind of surprised by how much of a gap there was there, considering he's got a 2J in that BMW. I figured I would have no problem keeping up with that LS car.
Oh, see right there.
Yeah, it looked like it was all off.
Yeah, maybe we can even get a quick rerun on the replay of that specific spot for you guys at home to see one more time. And then dropping a couple more there in outside 3. Trying to throw up the replay again so that you can see that from outside zone 1 to outside zone 2 in the chase position. If you watch here closely, you'll see a hard white line when we come out of the bank here. Yep, right here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's close.
Luckily, Ben, that's for the judges to decide, not us, because...
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not that.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on this side of the booth and not that side.
So the roles flip. Xander will be out front. Andrew Wilder will be in chase. Quick shout out as they wait to launch to the chat, at least on Facebook. My beautiful wife, Emily Zimmerman, chatting in, saying positive attitude. That's the only way to go. And the guys are off. So Xander out front, Andrew in chase. Wonder if Andrew's spotter, what they noted about Xander's chase spot. Andrew's applying the pressure good. Oh, Xander just a little bit too loose on setup here, it looks. Oh, and maybe a straight in here in 3. Oh, he's out. So potentially,
I think that might be in one more time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was just it was kind of all over the place. I think we got to regroup here, rerun it, and see what we could do. But obviously, that's going to be for the judges to decide, not me.
Yeah, it almost looks like incomplete in the lead and an incomplete in the chase. Oh, it's really close. Almost the same area there where Andrew straightens a little bit from outside 1 to 2. But certainly, a double incomplete for Xander, right? It looked like he was 3 off in the lead, and then, an outside zone 3, 3 off in the lead. In the chase, it looked like 3 off from outside 1 to outside 2 for Xander. So we'll see what happened.
Good old Zandy boy.
Zandy. Decision is in. One more time battle here. Okay, so getting a little bit of insight from the judges. Both drivers double incompleted. Wilder incompleted in the lead and the chase, and Xander also incompleted in the lead and chase. Again, if you're joining us on the live stream, make sure you give the stream a share, tag a friend that shouldn't be missing out on the action. Drop a comment if you have any questions. I believe I'm going to have the opportunity at some point here to have Adam Heisman back in the booth. He's heading to Pro Spec competition in 2024. So if you drop a question from now till the end of the stream, I'll try to ask him when we get a minute. So a one more time battle here. The roles flip again. Andrew Wilder out front. Xander Nappy and Chase both doing a great job through outside zone 1. Andrew Wilder drops out of outside zone 1 rather early in the lead. To outside zone 2, both of them get through outside zone 2. Outside zone 3, Andrew comes up just a little bit short on outside zone 3, really having to halt the momentum of the car and then potentially dropping a tire on the back half of outside zone number 3.
Yeah, I think this is going to be another rough one for the judges, Ben. Definitely better than the first runs, but
yeah, let's take a look.
I think we can see some improvement here.
On the replay here. Pretty solid all the way through outside zone 2. And then pay attention to Andrew here. You see right there, he sucks out of the zone. Yep. So looked like one tire out towards the latter half of outside zone number 3. So, if Xander can lay down a really nice lead run that Andrew doesn't have quite as good of a chase of what Xander had, Xander might be able to move past Andrew Wilder here. Obviously, very big mistakes in the first battle of these two that led to a one more time battle. So no big, earth-shaking mistakes in the first half of this one more time battle. See what happens here on the back half, if there's something that gives us a clear, decisive winner, or if this is going to be a tough call for the judges.
All right, here we go. Xander Nappy leading. And Andrew Wilder looks like he's picking up some ground on him. Putting out a pretty solid chase run and lead run. Doing pretty good with outer zone 2, maybe 2 tires off. Into outer zone 3. It looks like a significant improvement by both drivers. Definitely an improvement from both drivers, I'd have to say.
So this one is a tough one to call, right? You know, it's not where you have the perfect lead on both sides. It's not where you have the perfect chase on both sides. It's almost a call of mistakes, right? You know, so who made the less mistakes as we look at the replay here from two different angles of Xander out front of Andrew? Andrew, certainly a good bit more proximity and chase, I believe, than what Xander had. But then, you know, the same similar mistake there in outside 2 in the chase position. And then through outside zone 3 in the lead, you know, Xander fills all of outside zone 3 a little bit better than Andrew did, but both had dropped a tire through outside zone 3. So similar mistakes. See if there's an edge here for one or the other. Who's going to move into top 16 battle? The winner of this battle will go on to face Kevin Ferraro.
So it looks like Andrew's rear tire is debeaded. Are those stage wheels? Oh, yeah, those are stage wheels. Those things are skirting on the track right now. A little bit of a debead there. How do you feel about your run? Be puffing on my inhaler. Hey, I already have 36 double Ds. I mean, all I gotta get is a skirt.
Conveniently enough, my wife sports a set of them.
Oh my god.
Let's do it.
Ben's out of control. No more beer for Ben.
I'm good.
Oh my god. Mine was on the whole time.
Just on the live stream talking about
Ben's wife on the live stream.
So the judges deliberate here. Oh boy. So we're going to see another one more time battle here between Andrew Wilder and Xander Nappy.
Oh, one more time.
Split decision with a one more time.
A one more time squared.
So for our third and final battle of top 32, two one more times. So no shortage of action. You're getting what you paid for here of the Great Lakes ProAm Series top 32. Again, make sure that if you haven't already, you give the stream a share. Follow Lake Erie Speedway, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, where you can catch all those things. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, because you're not only going to get Great Lakes Pro-Am action on the YouTube page, you're also going to get tons of live streaming of grassroots drifting after the rounds of Pro-Am, where you can find me and my counterpart in the booth, Brian O'Connor, throwing it down, melting off some rubber. So you can get all your drifting action in one spot. It's not just competition drifting. It's, 10, 12, 15 car tandem trains just rolling around this place, having an absolute blast.
7 car tandems, but we don't know how to we don't know how to count. Sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 40, sometimes all of A group is out there at once. We're just bad counters, but 7 cars.
So now would be a great time to drop a comment in on the live stream. If you have any questions, maybe I can ask the judges about a decision that was made or something like that to give you guys some more insight. Maybe you have a question about grassroots drifting, what it takes to get into drifting,
I have an idea. Ben, I'm going to interview you.
Okay.
So, Ben, what got you into drifting?
Okay, so, I've been into drifting for a really long time. I think when I was really, really young, YouTube was new. We had dial-up internet. Not that I'm the oldest person or anything like that, but got into watching like RC drifting on YouTube. So that was like kind of my first thing. And then from there, just getting into watching drifting videos, different stuff like that. Donut Media in their time with Ryan Turek and stuff like that, and Forsberg, Drift Alliance, all that good stuff. So, and
throwbacks.
then, yeah, for sure. And obviously our other teammate on Team Vacation, Brian Reichert, he got into the sport. He got his AMG. He built it. He got it done, all that good stuff. And I came to Summer Mats 2020. And, I already had my 240. I had a lot of the stuff that I needed to get it done. And I was kind of just sitting on it doing research. And I came to Summer Mats, and he was like, dude, you have to put it together. So I literally went back home. I had all the stuff that I needed. I started putting it together. And I was at Fall Mats 2020. That was my first drift event ever. So then, got all of 21 and all of 22. And here we are.
So really, you haven't even been driving for that long. It's only been about 4 seasons.
Yeah, I mean.
Wow. That's impressive.
Probably less than, definitely less than 30 events.
Wow.
Definitely less than 30 events.
You're definitely a phenomenal driver for such limited drive time.
I really appreciate that.
Of course.
It's just like Adam said, for me it's all about having fun, and there's always something to learn, so I try to pick Dave Nashwinner's brain as much as I can. I just try to soak up all the knowledge that I can, all the pointers about driving and car setup, and I have, a great team and Team Vacation to help me out with that. And previous to that, joining you guys, being with Team No Talent and Paul Robinson, Jesse McCourt, we were all kind of new to it, and just supporting each other and having fun and trying to advance what we were doing. And, I would say it certainly worked, not to be pompous or anything like that. It's just, I just try to drive as hard as I can, and I'm not afraid to do that because of the support that I've had from you guys, really.
Well, it definitely shows. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that everything's going well for you, and I'm excited to drive some Smash Lantern with you here in just a couple weeks. And a fun fact about Dave Nashwinner was my first tandem. So never tandem with anyone before, and Dave hopped on the track, chased me, and I have never been so scared before in my life. But here we are now. Oh, my goodness. Andrew Wilder just crashed into the entrance wall.
Big shout out to the man that blessed this world with the likes of Brian O'Connor. Jimmy O'Connor. Excellent job, Brian O'Connor.
I appreciate that, Dad or Mom, whoever's using that Facebook profile at the moment. I appreciate it.
Gary, it's no question that we all love you. And thanks to everybody that's showing love in the comments. Like I said, keep it going. Keep the momentum train rolling. Tag a friend. Give the stream a share. Big Noodle, a.k.a. Squigs, a.k.a. Squiggly Noodle.
Squiggly boy.
Jimmy giving a shout out to your mom. So, big shout out to Mrs. O'Connor, too. Probably for putting up with you for a lot of years.
I don't know how she's done it. I really don't.
So if you're watching the live stream, let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. We love to know where you guys are at. I'd love to give you a shout out. If there's anybody else that you want to give a shout out to on the live stream, go ahead, drop a comment. We'll get as many shout-outs in as we can.
Ben, it looks like your wife is inquiring on how to compete for next year. Oh, no, she wants to sign you up for competing next year. How do I sign Ben Bruno up to compete next year? What do you have to say? Are you competing? Is there something you got to tell us?
Look, happy wife, happy life, all right? So
That's what she wants.
if that's what she wants, that's what she gets, I suppose.
That's it, man.
But
You better get out there.
I
You better
really
get
like
ready.
it up here in the booth, so I'll be kind of heartbroken if that's the direction we go, and
Hey,
I'm not up here in the booth, seriously. So
got to do what you got to do, man. Got to keep the wife happy.
Joyce, track worker, she's at home not joining us here today. She's rooting on Alan Boss. So, Joyce, thanks for joining us on the live stream. And Ashley Beckman just finished a detail job. Shout out Fabulous Auto Details. They're off. Andrew Wilder out front. Xander Nappy and Chase. Wilder filling all of outside zone number 1. Leaves it a little bit early, but did a great job initiating. Xander just having a real, spinning. Oh, my goodness.
Near miss. Holy Toledo.
Oh.
The whole front clip comes off the car. Oh, my
Things
goodness.
I probably can't say on stream were clenched right there. And, I mean,
Wow.
I was in the booth, too, honestly.
That was close.
I really thought that was going to be a big impact.
That was a bit of a pucker moment, if I say so myself. That was tight.
So, mistake from Andrew Wilder in the lead. You saw there, we had talked about it previously with those bumps coming off of the front stretch down there into the infield and what kind of, impact that can have for these guys. And it looked like maybe that's what it was. Take a look on the replay here. Andrew Wilder hits that difference, transitions back. Oh, just carried a little bit too much. So it wasn't necessarily the bumps. And then you can see, as Jacob Gettins would like to plug us on the Formula Drift stream, a block of cheese you couldn't fit between the bumper and the rear bumper of those guys. So
You couldn't fit a slice of mozzarella between there, I tell you what.
a bunch more shout outs here. Everybody tuning in to how close that was of avoided contact. Tracy Stello here for Team Troy Manners. Xander Nappy out front now. Andrew Wilder and Chase playing hide and seek with the wall. He's applying the proximity here to Xander. Oh, he leaves the track again. Maybe 3 more tires off for, at least I only saw Andrew, so we'll have to take a look on the replay, but certainly looked like 3 tires off there for Andrew Wilder and Chase. Extremely unfortunate because he was on a really, really nice run there, so. Take a look at the replay here. Xander out front, Andrew Wilder and Chase. You see Xander low on outside zone 1. Andrew sucks down the bank to try to match that line. And then here, bam, 4 tires out. You can see Xander dropping some tires in the lead, but not. I didn't see anything to incomplete Xander there in the lead. I could be wrong. So Xander does indeed get the win. Xander's going to move on over Andrew Wilder. Just a couple quick more shout-outs as we get ready for this battle. Jeanette, Paul Robinson's family, rooting for Paul from Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Next battle is gridded up. We're going to see Chad Anderson in the lead, chased by Blake Doge. So we're into our top 16 now here. This is the first battle of our top 16. Chad Anderson out front, Blake Doge and Chase. Anderson initiates right into outside zone number 1. Fills all of outside 1. Blake straightens, it looks like, in the chase, just not able to get up the bank and had to avoid that way shorter line. Chad doing a great job here in the lead, pouring smoke off the back of that. Coyote-powered BMW. So again, you know, this layout making it rather difficult for these guys to chase. Maybe an incomplete here in the chase position for Blake Doge.
Yeah, it looks like Blake Doge's car is becoming unsettled quite a few times here out on the track. I don't know if you see it in the replay here. When he comes into, let's see, it might be right here. A little bit of a straight, and then the car is super bouncy, so I'm not sure what's causing that. I don't know if his dampening is a little too loose, a little too tight. I don't know.
Second leg of this battle underway. Blake Doge out front. Chad Anderson in chase. Blake Doge just having some fun with it here. Big angle. Does a great job on that bank to get through outside zone number 1. Anderson just doing what he needs to do to get the job done in the chase spot to advance here with that incomplete from Blake in the chase. Blake very active chase, or I'm sorry, Chad very active chase there. So
lots of angle from Blake out there at the end.
Yeah, that was a good lead run. You know, you almost wish that he could have put it together a little bit better there for his chase run, and maybe it would be a decision having to be made about whether he's going to advance or not versus, you know, I think that this should be pretty clear-cut advancement for Chad Anderson.
So in the chat here, Team Mad MX is asking when Scott Petty is going to be driving again. So that seems to be the question of the night. If anyone wants to do some bets on when Scott Petty will be back out on track, we will figure something out, start up a group chat, and start putting bets in for when Scott Petty is going to be driving again.
Oh my God. He says he's retired. We're going to start a GoFundMe to bring you back out of retirement. Take a look over here to the YouTube comments here. Thanks for everybody that's joining us on the live stream. So we got Tom Perner in there. Thanks, Tom, for joining us once again. We got Daxton in there. Daxton joins us up here for vibes and different stuff like that. We got Squiggly Noodle on the YouTubes as well. Appreciate your support. Gotta love the Higa comment. Gotta love the Higa comment. Diego Higa. So that's like the new LZ thing this year in Formula Drift, where instead of it being LZ, it's Higa, Higa, Higa. Yeah, Tom, you're not lying. That's exactly what he actually said when I said that we're going to start a GoFundMe. He said, I need time. I'm playing with LED lights too much. Bill Anderson on Facebook giving a shout out to Chad on a good job there in that battle.
So now we got a K24 and a twin turbo LS. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, Matt Moncallion out front, Brian Bubash and Chase. Moncallion doing a great job. Leaves outside zone 1 just a little bit early, but Bubash struggling to keep up with that Honda-powered Z. Through outside zone 2, Matt doing a great job out front. Brian doing everything that he can here in the chase, but just lacking that proximity in the chase position.
That is super surprising.
Yeah, did a good job. Did a good job back there. Just couldn't suck up that gap through outside zone number 1. Ended up a little bit low on the bank. So we'll see here on the replay exactly what happened.
I think that was a really solid lead lap for Matt. Really, really solid lead lap. And it looks like Ben's car is coming into the parking lot somehow. Someone stole his truck and his drift car. Ben, what's going on here?
Oh, hey, that's my drift car back there. Yeah, shout out David Shaner. I scumbagged Shaner into dropping what he was doing, going over to my house, picking up my truck with my car still strapped to the trailer from last event. So Shaner bringing my car out. But couple more shout outs. Another Team Vacation member, Brett Beckman, jumping into the stream. Really appreciate you showing the love. Charlie Scott, another person that drifts here in PA, Ohio, New York, joining the stream. Leg number 2 of this battle, Boobash out front, Moncallion and Chase. Moncallion initiates a good bit lower. You can see it starting to affect him here, but does a really good job of keeping it together. Now putting it back to the door of Boobash into outside zone number 3. Extremely Moncallion, a straight in there into outside zone number 3. I mean, he was laying it down to say why he's moving on into the next round. See how that affects him there. Just kind of had to check up because Brian had so much angle there. So we'll take a look on the replay. So you can see Moncallion ends up way lower. Really impressive job of maintaining this and not being in a spot where he had to straighten to avoid contact. And then into outside 2, he's a little bit shallow behind Boobash, and then this extremely aggressive transition. Maybe it bogged real quick right there or something. I mean, it almost looked like he had to do that because of Boobash's angle, but in the replay, it doesn't appear that way at all. Maybe wonder if there was a bit of a problem there. Chad's grandparents chiming into the Facebook live chat. So Brian Boobash is going to advance over Matt Moncallion in their top 16 battle here. So we take a look at the bracket. It's not edited. Oh, okay. We got Anderson and Boobash. We don't have, yeah, that's it. All right, so taking a look at the bracket, as we saw there, Chad Anderson advances over Blake Doge. Brian Boobash advances over Matt Moncallion. So moving forward, we're going to see Kevin Madden and Paul Robinson. Kevin Madden in the lead, Paul Robinson and Chase.
What did you do? Just got rid of the other row?
Yeah, that was the 6. Two really, really good drivers here. 2 LSs under the hood. One has tons of seat time in that car. One has no seat time in that car. And conveniently, LS swapped it in my garage. So Paul Robinson in the chase. Kevin Madden out front. Kevin Madden powering down the backstretch. Paul initiates behind him. Good initiation for Paul here behind him. Kevin filling all of outside zone number 1. Maybe one of the best that we've seen so far. Oh, Paul gets real aggressive in transition into outside 2, just unable to maintain the angle. And Kevin Madden bearing any mistakes here. So Paul Robinson will incomplete in his chase run here. And I think maybe even before the spin, Paul may have incompleted on 3 tires off, getting a little bit lost there in the smoke trail. So you can see Paul, I mean, he doesn't have any seat time in this car, so does a really good job here. Then, yeah, right there, the 4 off over that white line was an incomplete for him in the chase. and then aggressively transitions there. So let's see what Paul can do out front in the lead here and what Kevin does in the back. But Kevin looking probably to play it safe here. You know, he should be able to advance on pending any mistakes. A little bit of a slow roll from Kevin here in the chase spot. Paul doing a great job through outside zone number 1. Kevin real low on the banking and quite a ways behind Paul. Paul does a great job through outside zone 2. Kevin closes the proximity now, painting that green black of that BMW. This is what we love about Kevin Madden, keeping the power rolling. So looks like undoubtedly that Kevin Madden will advance. And you know, we love watching Kevin at PO Ohio, New York, or whether it's the Great Lakes ProAm Series. This guy just absolutely shreds.
Yep, definitely a phenomenal driver. And, I mean, it goes to show there. He was way off at the beginning, but closed it up really good there in Outer Zone 2 and Outer Zone 3.
So if you're Paul Robinson, I don't think that you can complain a whole lot about this. Kevin Madden's going to advance over Paul Robinson unanimously. But if you're Paul, I don't think that you can complain about it because you have no seat time. It's a fresh swap. Things are just handling differently and, you know, just getting used to that car. And I think he did a really good job of handling that. So fresh LS power under the hood for Paul Robinson, but unfortunately not going to advance. So
Next up, we've got Casey Rodriguez and Tony Schmidt. Casey Rodriguez with an LS-powered 350Z, and Tony Schmidt with his C5 Vet, LS1 powered. So I think this is, you know, two totally different chassis, definitely set up very differently, and two different driving styles. So it's going to be really cool to see how these guys match up here. Looks like we got the okay to send them out. The lights are on, and they are off. Casey Rodriguez putting the pedal to the metal there into the corner 1. Outer Zone 1 doing a great job filling in the zone. Tony Schmidt doing a great job keeping up with him. Great proximity from the chase. Lead driver putting down a solid run. And as we enter Outer Zone 3 here, you're going to see Casey Rodriguez a little heavy on the left foot brake there. Tony Schmidt doing a great job closing up that proximity. And a solid run by both drivers. Alrighty, so we're just getting ready to send them out in reverse order now. So now it's going to be Tony Schmidt leading, Casey Rodriguez in the chase. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see how Tony Schmidt can put it into Outer Zone 1 here, and Casey Rodriguez getting real close to the wall there. Lacking on Outer Zone 1 there. Here we go into Outer Zone 2. Casey Rodriguez closing up the proximity of Tony Schmidt. Both drivers doing a phenomenal job. Tony Schmidt throwing it into outer zone 3. A little out of the zone, but then maintaining the zone. Casey Rodriguez painting that door on that Corvette real tight. And then obliterating those cones at the end of outer zone 3.
So it looked like Tony lost the rear two wheels off the car through outside zone number 3.
All right, so it looks like the judges are just trying to figure out what we've got here with Tony Schmidt and Casey Rodriguez. What? Just waiting on the judges here. It looks like unanimously, Casey Rodriguez takes the W. So unfortunately, Tony went 3 tires off at some point there. And that's how the judges came to their decision. So now we've got Jeff Clark and Alan Boss. This is going to be an interesting run to watch because Alan Boss makes bazooka power in that Z there. So I think there will be quite a bit of Gapplebees coming our way here.
And a quick shout out here to Alan Boss from his favorite aunt. I think that this is multiple streams in a row, so she's just solidifying that she's your favorite. Your Aunt Claire says, "Go Yeet Fleet," and let's go, Alan. So Alan Boss will be out front. Jeff Clark will be in chase. And as Brian had mentioned, pretty good power deficit here between these two cars. LS9 power under the hood of the Z, 5-liter under the hood of the Mustang. Oh, and maybe a problem here from Jeff Clark.
Something might happen with Jeff Clark's car.
Yeah, Alan throwing it down out front. Jeff gets into it now. Alan Boss doing everything he needs to do out front here in the lead position. So that, if I'm not mistaken, that should be an incomplete for Clark in the chase because he did not initiate before the third line going into outside zone number 1.
So swapping it up here, Jeff Clark's going to lead, Alan Boss is going to chase, and I think it's going to be interesting to watch because, like I said, with the horsepower deficit, it's so significant. I mean, it's got to be 500 horsepower difference between these two cars. He's really going to have to kind of take it easy and just focus on doing a good, clean chase run.
Yeah, and you got to figure here that Alan's at an extreme advantage because of that first run with Jeff in the chase. So hopefully that got relayed to him by his spotter here, and he should be taking it relatively easy in the chase spot here.
It does not look like he plans on it.
Oh! Not exactly sure what happened there. It was very, very similar and reminiscent of what just happened there on the first run from Jeff Clark, but this time it comes at the cost of Alan Boss. So gets real checked up. Don't know if he's having a little bit of a technical problem or if that's just the way that he prefers to enter into outside zone number 1 with that little bit of a checkup. But this is going to be a major detriment to Alan Boss here. So major implications here in the top 3 of points with this. If Alan Boss isn't able to get this fixed up, I mean, if Alan Boss wins, he's headed to Pro Spec, and he's currently sitting in the 1 spot. If he cannot advance after this, it's Mike Steele and Chad Anderson that are in the shuffle in the top 3 that, oh, man. I mean, look at the replay. I mean, essentially almost a pit maneuver that sent Allen straight into the outside wall. So, but if Allen can't continue on here, I mean, he might have a Pro Spec license that just evaded his hands because of a freak accident.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate, the unfortunate news of that. So it looks like we're going to head over to a commercial break here as we clean up the track here, get the cars pulled off the track. So give us just a couple minutes here, and we should be back shortly.
So just before we get to commercial here, decision is made. Alan Boss will advance over Jeff Clark. The question is, will Alan Boss be able to get the front end of that car put back together to compete in the Grade 8? So really interesting turn of events here in our top 16. And with that, we'll let you guys stew on that. Grab your popcorn, grab your beer, grab your honey. Don't miss any of the action. We're going to take a quick break.
Ultimate lubricant. Moty's.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here.
I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushkin.
I'm Matt Field. I drive Link.
They are the most reliable EC around, and they always deliver. Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it.
Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive
Link.
The wheel key should be in the driver's door right there, or it's in the passenger's door. All right, cool. Yep, bye. Welcome back to Lake Erie Speedway for round number 4, the top 32 competition portion of the Great Lakes ProAm Series presented by Moty's. When we left right before our commercial break, a rather interesting turn of events. Our number 1 point sitter, Alan Boss, gets into contact with Jeff Clark going into outside zone number 1 that sends Alan Boss up into that bank wall, potentially implicating his chances at securing his pro spec license. If he can't get that car fixed up and back on track for his grade 8 battle, and Chad Anderson or Mike Steele continue to move up the bracket, I'm not exactly sure yet just how many points that gap is, but those are the 3 that are, in contention there in the top 3, which is a huge storyline. It's Allen doesn't have it locked up. Even if he is able to fix the car and advance on, there's still a battle here for who's getting their pro spec license. So that battle is going to be between Alan Boss, Chad Anderson, and Mike Steele. So if Mike Steele and Chad Anderson can continue to move on, Alan Boss might have just watched his pro spec license holding go up in smoke, which obviously nobody would want for anybody. And that's not any way that I'm sure that Chad or Mike Steele want to earn their pro license either. But, maybe a gift for those guys and a detrimental disaster for Alan Boss here in his top 16 battle against Jeff Clark. So interesting storyline shaping up here for round number 4 of the Great Lakes ProAm series presented by Moty's. Again, if you're watching the stream on YouTube or Facebook, make sure that you tag in your friends. I mean, it's up in the air about who's gonna, be a pro spec license holder. You can see up on screen, you can watch any of our streams at Lake Erie Speedway or at Great Lakes ProAm series, as well as on our Facebook page at Lake Erie Speedway on Facebook. You can catch our live streams as well. So, I mean, things just got all too hairy, and here we go, walking into the next one. We got Mike Sampson out front and Mike Steele in chase. So Mike Steele is one of those guys that is in the chase here to grab a pro spec license. So we see the demise here real quick for Alan Boss to see Mike Steele line up against Mike Sampson and really see how this storybook's going to unfold. So, I mean, if you're just joining us, you're joining us at the perfect time. I mean, we got a pro spec license up in the air. We got a champion up in the air. We got 3 Link ECUs up in the air right now for the top 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. So make sure that you're not missing out now. I mean, it's just getting hot and heated here.
Definitely an interesting turn of events, Ben. You're absolutely right.
Somebody on the We're going to take a quick second here and check the track for debris. Big thank you to Bill Anderson for shouting that out in the comments. So we'll double check that real quick and make sure that there's nothing out there to cause anybody any harm. But yeah, as I was mentioning, I mean, now's the time to be in the stream. Now's the time to be getting your friends in the stream. There's still a lot of action left as we're just through our first couple battles of top 16 here so far. So pro spec license is up for grabs, and our number 1 sitter at the moment, Alan Boss, just ended up in the turn 3 wall and did a lot of damage to the front end of his car. I'm imagining that he's got a lot of spare replacement parts over there, but if anything majorly is shifted, there's only so much band-aiding that can be done. So I mean, the storyline right now is absolutely massive about who's going home with a pro spec license. And I'm sure that Alan's been sitting they're thinking, boy, you know, I'm going to do everything that I can do to get as far through the rounds as I can. And we're going to move right along into, you know, pro spec here next year. Well, that's quite a bit different of a mentality here at this point. And to the same note, if you're just joining us, one of the guys sitting on the starting line right now, you see him right there, Mike Steele, in that white and blue 240. He's one of the guys that's in the shuffle there in the top 3 that could earn a pro spec license. So, you know, is one man's downfall going to be, you know, everything for another? And Mike Steele's going to try to do just that right now. Make sure you give the stream a share, tag a buddy that needs to not be missing out. I mean, I hate to call it, but like this is almost drama TV right now.
Yeah, it's definitely close.
So we got Mike Steele and Mike Swampson of the Swamp Kids out front. Mike Sampson doing a great job here. Oh, Sampson now. Heavy contact into the wall with his E30. Looks like everything's relatively intact. Maybe a bent tie rod.
Looks like you just added some white wall tires, man. No big deal.
See
Probably looks
that
like it's ready to rock and roll again.
passenger side front tire wobbling a little bit. But it looked like just a big mistake for Mike Sampson. Ends up having him in the wall here. We'll take a look at the replay and see if there's anything else to it. But so the carnage just started here at Lake Erie Speedway. Maybe we can take another look at that replay on screen real quick. See, he throws it back up for us. All right, let's see. I'm sorry I missed it there for you guys on the live stream on the first replay. Let's see. You know, I think it was really just a little mistake there from Sampson, and him trying to correct it ends up sending him into understeer into the wall. So he initiates. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just a little bit of a mistake trying to correct it. So now Mike Steele's going to be out front. And, I mean, when you talk about this battle here for who's getting a pro spec license, I mean, this could be, you know, this is almost a gimme for Mike Steele to make his way into the grade 8. I mean, it certainly looked like Mike Sampson had gathered some damage to maybe a tie rod or some suspension parts there in the passenger side front. So we'll see if his car handles good here. I'm assuming he's going to take it relatively easy. I mean, he's got to lay it all on the line, but Mike Steele initiates into outside zone 1. No problem so far for either of these guys. Mike Sampson applying the pressure now into outside zone 2. Oh, a big correction. And unable to save it in the chase spot. But it looked like Mike Steele maybe chucked a lot of angle into outside zone number 2. See if there's any fault here pointed around that maybe gives Mike Sampson a breath of new life. Mike Sampson burning him down after the run. Drop in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking here, guys.
This has got to be the craziest run we've witnessed so far, Ben.
I mean, I don't think that we've ever seen anything like what happened to Allen. And then, I mean, I don't think that we've seen – and, I mean, the real point of contention here is that he's battling Mike Steele. And Mike Steele's one of the guys that is in the top 3 and can take away that pro spec license from Allen. So, I mean, if Mike Sampson incompletes because of that hit and there's no fault to the spin and the chase position in outside zone number 2, I mean, Mike Steele's, so decision's in. Mike Steele advances, and I mean, man, this storyline just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I mean, Mike Steele's in into the grade 8. So that puts Allen versus Mike Steele in the grade 8. So I mean, depending upon what Allen's able to do here, I mean, if Chad advances and Mike advances, I mean, I'll dig into this a little bit for you guys, but, I mean, this is interesting stuff here. Thanks for joining us, Tim. Your first time seeing a drift competition. Really appreciate you joining, and you're catching maybe the best competition that we've had all year, and I mean, it's tough to say that with the carnage that is at hand at the moment, but I mean, somebody's moving on to be a professional, and that's up in the air right now because of carnage. So, I mean, who's going to move on? Who's going to get a pro spec license?
Now we've got Xander Nappy and Kevin Ferraro. So let's see, in outer zone 1, doing a phenomenal job keeping it in the zone. Lots of smoke, lots of tire. Oh, getting real close there. Xander Nappy trying to choke up on Kevin there. In outer zone 3, Kevin doing a phenomenal job. And through the finish. Real good lead run.
So a good battle here on the first leg between Kevin Ferraro and Xander Nappy. So Kevin threw down a really awesome lead here. Xander did a really good job. You know, we saw 2 one-more-time battles for Xander, giving him more and more time to get this car dialed into the layout. And looks like that paid off some benefits to him, as much more composed there in the chase position, doing a really good job. So, and I apologize for any radio silence on the stream. There's a lot going on here, you know, trying to figure out what might happen with Alan Boss. You know, can Mike Steele or Chad Anderson end up, you know, taking away that chance to earn a pro spec license, and then, you know, getting straight back into this battle. I mean, I was taken for a turn. You know, I didn't even introduce these guys when they got to the line because, I mean, it is quite literally a drama reality series at the moment. Make sure you're sticking with us. Like I said, you know, there's not a better time to get in the stream than right now. I mean, it is absolutely insane right now what's developing. So Xander Nappy out front of Kevin Ferraro. Kevin threw down a really good lead, so Xander going to have to do everything he can. Ends up a little bit short on outside zone number 1. Pretty much completely missing outside zone number 1. A big check into outside zone 2. Kevin doing everything he can to replicate it. Into outside zone number 3. Xander comes up quite a bit short there and then pushes him wide on the way out, so dropping a couple tires on the way out. See what the judges decide here on this battle, and start to get a little bit more insight here for you guys on how the championship battle is going to shape up here. Working on getting you guys some more info on the implications of the championship battle here, of what needs to happen for Allen to get dethroned from the #1 spot by Mike Steele or Chad Anderson, exactly how far one of those guys need to go, if not both of them. I know Tom Perner has a good bit of insight, so if you're on the YouTube stream, maybe Tom can drop a quick comment on what the scenario is that needs to happen. Decision is in between Ferraro and Nappy. Unanimous decision. Kevin Ferraro will advance to the grade 8 over Xander Nappy. So, again, if you're in the YouTube stream, let's see. Got lots of comments.
Next up, we've got Ryan Reese and Troy Manners. Ryan Reese driving the JZX 100 with a JZ motor. And Troy Manners with his, I think that's a JZ powered car as well, right? JZ powered 240. Yeah. JZ versus JZ. 2-door versus 4-door. Toyota versus Nissan.
Yep, and 1.5 versus 1, so.
Let's see if that half makes a difference.
So Troy Manners out front, Ryan Reese and Chase. Manners initiates into outside 1. Reese right to his door. Oh, the banking causing a lot of trouble for Reese with that proximity, gripping him back up. Able to maintain it into outside zone number 2. Into outside zone 3. Maybe one of the more active chases we've seen yet today is Ryan Reese closing in the proximity through outside zone number 3. In a really great lead from Troy Manners out front. Ryan Reese doing everything he can in the chase. See what Manners does here in the chase. Quite a bit of wavering there on the bank. As I had talked about, the banking adding grip to the car. So Reese initiates right here, right to the door, and then, trying to scrub some speed and stuff. A lot of weird stuff happens, so you see a lot of corrections here in the chase from Ryan Reese. And then through outside zone 3, gathers it back up, right back to the door of Manners. So doing everything that he can. So, the second leg of this battle is going to be everything here for Ryan Reese.
Looks like they're ready to go. Our lights are on, and they are off. JZ versus JZ. Let's see what happens. Canada versus United States.
Reese does a great job through outside zone number 1. Manners trying to suck up proximity here into outside 2. He does just that. To outside 3. Continues to pour on the proximity, dropping a couple tires there in the chase is Manners. And a really nice smooth lead there from Ryan Reese out front. So going to be a really tough call here for the judges on who did what better and who made less mistakes.
Say it right now? No. Say it right now? No. Ruin it for everyone? Who's pavement out there? Looks like Troy Manners is going to take the win. Troy Manners with the win. All right, so that is the last of our top 16. So hang in here with us. We're going to take a short break, and we will be back soon with some more action.
ultimate lubricant. Moty's.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here.
I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushin.
I'm Matt Field. I drive Link.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver. Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it.
Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive
Link.
As a storyline unfolds here at the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series Top 32 and Final Round 4, we got a Pro Spec license up for grabs and a couple of Link ECUs up for grabs for the top 3. And the champion of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will be receiving their Pro-Am license. So as we take a look at the bracket here, you can see how things have advanced from our 16 to our 8. So Anderson wins over Dodge. Bubash wins over Moncallion. So first battle we should be seeing is Chad Anderson versus Brian Bubash. And then Kevin Madden advances over Paul Robinson. And Casey Rodriguez advances over Tony Schmidt. So the second battle we will be seeing is Kevin Madden versus Casey Rodriguez. And then to the right side of the bracket in the storyline of our top 32, Alan Boss is going to be facing Mike Steele. I haven't gotten any information yet if Alan Boss is able to repair his car and get back out to take this battle against Mike Steele, which we will find out momentarily. And then to the bottom side of the right side of the bracket, Kevin Ferraro defeats Xander Nappy. And Troy Manners defeats Ryan Reese. So the very last battle of the Grade 8 that we will see is Kevin Ferraro versus Troy Manners. So things evolving here as Alan Boss has some contact in his 16 battle against Jeff Clark that sends him up into the wall. He's our number 1 point sitter coming into the round. And he would be the one that was up for the Pro Spec license. Things get interesting here as Mike Steele and Chad Anderson are both in the Grade 8, sitting second and third. Still trying to work out the logistics of if one of those guys can apex Alan Boss and steal that pro license away from him. So all those guys still in competition here and trying to earn their Pro Spec license. And it comes down to this, you know, it's not like Alan had it locked up and, you know, that it was going to be impossible here for him to lose that. So things getting interesting in the Grade 8. Will Alan Boss be able to get that car fixed back up and back out to take his battle against Mike Steele? So things getting interesting, Brian. Maybe one of the most hair-raising rounds of Great Lakes Pro-Am that we've experienced yet.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. This is definitely the most interesting round that we've gotten the chance to commentate as of this far. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen here. We got a lot of talent here in the top 4. Lots of really good drivers, and anything can happen at this point. Like you said, Ben, you know, anything is possible. And, you know, mistakes could be made, and we could see some things we didn't expect to see here tonight.
So give a couple shout-outs. You know, obviously all of our sponsors, in particularly here at the Speedway to even make things possible. Pro Waste, you know, does a lot for us here at the Speedway. But, you know, I really want to give a shout-out to a lot of the guys that make this stuff happen. Dave Nash winner, Scott Petty, all of our judges and all of our PA Ohio, New York staff, in particularly the guys that come out early, maybe even a day in advance for these events to get things ready so that we can shred and get to watch this awesome action. So, all those guys, AJ Moore, the general manager of the Speedway, all the improvements that he's made for us over the years to make this place what it is. So, without further ado, we're into our grade 8. Chad Anderson versus Brian Bubash. So Chad Anderson, one of those guys that's up there in that mix to grab his pro spec license, and if not, get a Link ECU in the top 3. So Brian Bubash going to do everything that he can to, take Chad out here in the grade 8. Brian, Turbo LS power under the hood. Chad Anderson, Ford power under the hood of that Mustang. BMW. And again, if you go over and you take a look at that car, you check out Chad Anderson's social media, that car is a really, really cool build. It's got a Mustang dash in it. It's a Roush dash, numbered placard dash. Very, very high quality build. So here we go into the grade 8. Chad Anderson out front, Brian Bubash in chase. Anderson initiates into outside zone 1 right there up against the wall. Pulls a little bit of angle out of it to maintain the zone. He ends up leaving it early anyway. Bubash doing everything he can to maintain that proximity. A big surge into outside zone number 2. Out of outside zone number 2 into 3. Looks like Chad Anderson maybe dropping a tire initially, but sucking right back into the zone and filling it all the way through. So you can see a little bit of a difference in setup between these guys. Where Chad Anderson is pretty comfortable with the amount of grip that he's got dialed into that car. You can tell Brian Bubash a little bit looser of a setup, just not able to keep up. And with all the power under that hood, should be able to keep it pasted right to the door. But big angle, lots of smoke, lots of throttle. That's kind of your telltale sign that car is a little bit looser than what Chad Anderson's working with. So, but does a really great job in the chase. Chad throwing down a really good lead, drops a tire real quick there into outside zone number 3, so nothing too detrimental. Again, if you're watching, let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, and who you want to see take home a Pro Spec license from the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series.
Alrighty, we're swapping them out. Let's see. Twin Turbo LS, Coyote 5.0. Looks like he's having no problem getting that BMW right on the door of that 240. Coming up real close here into outer zone 2. Lots of angle, lots of tire smoke from both cars. Both drivers doing a phenomenal job of maintaining the line. That BMW trying to paint that white door black. Oh. Lots of angle there towards the end.
So
had me a little nervous
battle.
there.
Interesting battle here between these guys, because it's something that I talked about right at the head of the stream here where, you got to match the line, you got to match the angle, and you see here in the replay, Chad juts quite a bit low where Brian is filling all of outside zone number 1. Did a really great job there. I know Chad's trying to apply the pressure here to Brian Bubash, but misses outside zone number 2. And then even right here, so Brian Bubash is, he's 3 tires out. Brian Bubash is 3 tires out and outside zone number 3 in the lead spot. So with an interesting turn, things get a little bit more straightforward with the 3 tire drop there from Brian Bubash. So an incomplete from Brian Bubash is going to send Chad Anderson into the next round, the round of 4. So Chad Anderson advances over Brian Bubash.
Next up, we've got Kevin Madden and Casey Rodriguez. Kevin Madden with the LS swapped 240, and Casey Rodriguez with his LS powered 350Z. Nissan versus Nissan, probably a 20, 30-year difference in manufacturing. Very, very different cars, very different setup, and 2 very talented drivers.
Similar power plants, similar things like that. You know, the S chassis and the Z get compared quite a bit, so maybe one of the more level battles that we've seen. This one's surely going to be a show for you guys watching at home and for those watching at the Speedway as well. So
yeah, this is one you're not going to want to miss. These guys are both heavy hitters here. You know, we're driving grassroots events. They're both very, very fun drivers to watch, and in competition as well. They really know how to throw down. So the lights are on and the lights are off. Casey Rodriguez, Kevin Madden, let's see. Takes the W.
Kevin Madden in lead. Casey the Hawk Rodriguez in chase. Kevin does an absolutely amazing job time and time again through outside zone number 1. Casey applying the pressure right to the door in outside zone number 2. Heading to outside zone number 3. Casey still right there. Kevin filling all the zones beautifully. Casey trying to paint that red black again here. Absolutely phenomenal lead. Absolutely phenomenal chase. Lake Erie Speedway, put your hands together for these guys. Putting on a show. And everybody in the comments, quick shout outs again. Benji Schultz, let's go, Yeet Fleet. We got Butters back in the chat again. Thanks for rejoining us. We got Travis Nighthawk Holbrook. So thanks for joining on the stream, guys. Give it a share. Tag a buddy that's missing out right now. I mean, we're absolutely throwing it down, and implications here to who's walking away with a Pro Spec license as well. So, but I mean, you know, overall, I mean, lead and chase right there. That's you know, that's almost exactly what the judges are looking for. You know, a little bit of a correction there in the chase from Casey in outside zone number 1. The roles reverse. Casey Rodriguez out front. Kevin Madden in chase initiates right to the door. Kevin Madden applying the pressure, a little bit of contact in outside zone number 1. Kevin trying to advance here into the 4. Oh, big aggressive move from Kevin, unable to save it in outside zone 2. So unfortunate break there for Kevin Ferraro. I'm sorry, Kevin Madden, not Kevin Ferraro. In the chase position, unable to maintain through outside zone 2. Quick shout out for Matt and Bobby Herr, coming from Oak Harbor, Ohio, saying, "Let's go, Hawk," aka Casey Rodriguez. Let's dial up the intensity, boys. That's what they're doing on track. Let's bring it to the stream, too. Let's do it. Let's party. Selfish shout out real quick. Emily watching at home, she sent me a picture of our son Andrew sitting on her lap watching. So shout out to baby Drew and Mama Bear, Emily.
Looks like Rodriguez is going to take the win. Rodriguez unanimously taking the win.
So Casey Rodriguez will advance to the Final Four. On the left side of the bracket in the Final Four, it will be Chad Anderson versus Casey Rodriguez, as we await to see who's going to win down the right side of the bracket. Up first, we have Alan Boss and Mike Steele, both of them in the top 3 of points for the Great Lakes ProAm Series. See if Alan was able to get his car put back together here to battle against Mike Steele and try to advance on to the round of 4.
The Final Four. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting Final Four for sure. I'm excited to see it. Lots of talent out there. Alrighty, so Alan Boss is going to take a quick timeout here to try to get his car put together so he can come out here and finish up the night. So we're going to go to Kevin Ferraro and Manners.
Both turbo cars, vastly different platforms for the motors and the chassis. So take a look. John in the comments looking for an update on Alan Boss. He just took his time out to try to repair the car. So we're moving past their battle for the time being while he takes his time out. So there's a little update for you, John, on Alan. Quick shout out to another one of our teammates, Team Vacation, showing out for the Great Lakes Pro-Am in force on the live stream and here with me and Brian in the booth. Zach Snyder jumping in the comments, another absolute shredder beast. From
Yeah,
Team
Zach,
Vacation.
put a cage in your car and get out here, would you? Alrighty, we've got Kevin Ferraro and Manners. 1JZ and M52T.
So Kevin Ferraro, relatively local guy, competes at some really big events, Grid Life. He was just at Mid-Ohio, if I'm not mistaken, and several other Grid Life events. Troy Manners, he competes all over the place. He is all over the coast. He's all over, guy with tons of experience. So not to say that Kevin doesn't, but, I would say a relatively opposite of one another. So Kevin Ferraro out front, Manners and Chase. Kevin powers into outside zone number 1, right up against the wall. Manners doing a good job in Chase. A little bit of lack there of proximity on initiation. Manners soaks it up here. Oh! Almost contact here into outside zone number 2. As Manners sucks that gap straight up. Kevin doing a great job out front. Troy doing a great job in the chase here. Maybe one of the most complete runs of a battle that we've seen so far, as far as the lack of mistakes and different things like that. So take a look at the replay here real quick. Kevin Ferraro out front fills all of outside zone number 1. That's exactly what the judges are looking for. Manners sucks up the proximity. Is there some a little bit of contact in outside zone 2. Just a little bit of a tire rub there to the door of Kevin Ferraro. The first tire rub that we've seen all day, really. So a great job out front, a great job of applying the pressure in the chase position. Now the roles will reverse. We'll see Troy Manners out front, Kevin Ferraro and Chase. Both extremely talented drivers. Good in the lead and chase. So things are going to be interesting here to see who's going to advance on the right side of the bracket. We don't know who they're going to face yet, as Alan Boss is trying to fix his car still. Manners out front, Ferraro and Chase. Manners initiates into outside zone number 1. He's right up against the wall. Kevin Ferraro unable to get quite as high through the bank into outside zone number 2. Ferraro applying the pressure to the door of Troy Manners. Outside zone 3, Kevin takes a little bit of a narrower transition to suck up here. He's going to apply the pressure in outside zone number 3. Lake Erie Speedway, put your hands together for Troy Manners and Kevin Ferraro.
That was a great run. Both drivers.
And I mean, both of these, when Troy Manners is here, he's a contender. And Kevin's here every time. He's always a contender. So, one way or the other here, a contender's either getting ready for the jam session after the competition or sending it back into the trailer and heading home. So. So real quick, just a quick shout out. If you want to get involved with the Great Lakes ProAm Series as a sponsor or the Speedway as a sponsor, please shoot us a message. We'd love to help you figure that out. Decision is in. Troy Manners advances into the round of 4 over Kevin Ferraro, which really you might be able to point at outside zone 1 as the advantage there for Troy Manners. So if you want to get involved with, supporting the Speedway or supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, please shoot us a message, whether it's at the Lake Erie Speedway Facebook, Instagram. Go ahead to the website, send us an email, stop out to the Speedway if you're a local business wanting to get involved. We're always looking for more people to support the series and the Speedway. We have an event here at the Speedway for just about everybody. We got wine tour, we got rodeo, we got demo derbies. It's not really a demo derby. There's a lot more to it. It's a lot more fun than that. No offense to the demo derby guys, but so if you can think of it, we got it. Oval racing, one of the biggest touring series in oval racing was just here. Some of the guys that you see driving NASCAR and some of the NASCAR feeder series graduate. They're racing right here in our backyard. And that's the same thing that you're seeing here today. These guys are going to be the next level of professional drivers in Formula Drift.
Alan Boss is back out on track. He must have got the car straightened away. So Alan Boss going against Mike Steele. Alan Boss and his LS9 powered 350Z. Mike Steele in the 5.3 liter S14.
Alan Boss in lead here. He initiates right up. Oh. And you can see that, that was probably damage-related incident there. Yeah, he's got that wheel folded over pretty hard there on the passenger side front. So, unfortunately for Alan Boss, the damage just proceeds too much to be able to get the job done here. So, looked all good and kosher into outside zone 1, but not for too long.
That is not what we wanted to see. That is definitely not what we wanted to see here tonight, Lake Erie Speedway.
So another big moment here, in the storyline of Alan Boss being in the number 1 spot and battling against another guy inside of the top 3 here in Mike Steele. The damage, I have to imagine it was from the damage of, him getting into the wall with Jeff Clark there. Just unable to make his way through, whether the tie rod was slightly bent and when he went in there, it really bent and then he had no steer there. You saw the tire fall over that way, probably incidental of the contact with the wall there. So probably not the factor that ended up sending him into the wall. Try to figure out for you guys some more of the implications of that championship battle between Alan Boss, Mike Steele, and Chad Anderson. But not how Alan Boss wanted to wrap up round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, that's for certain. So Mike Steele with that is going to get a bye run on the second run here. He does not have to drift if he does not choose to. He is welcome to drift. So he's going to take a little mild-mannered lap here. We'll just listen to some pure sound of Mike Steele. So Mike Steele advances over Alan Boss. So that means our final four is set. Chad Anderson against Casey Rodriguez. Mike Steele versus Troy Manners.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for the finals.
Ultimate lubricant. Moty's.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here.
I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushkin.
I'm Matt Field. I drive Link.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver. Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it.
Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive
Link.
Welcome back to Lake Erie Speedway for round number 4 of the Great Lakes ProAm Series presented by Moty's. Interesting storylines developing here late in our bracket. So Alan Boss gets into some contact in his 16 battle. He's our number 1 point sitter. Coming in was slated to walk away with a pro spec license. With that, ends up having to battle against Mike Steele with some damage, ends up going into outside zone number 1 and getting back into the wall again. So our our final four is set. Chad Anderson versus Casey Rodriguez on the left side of the bracket, and Mike Steele able to advance over Alan Boss. So Troy Manners will face Mike Steele on the right side of the bracket to set our championship round here. So try to get you guys some more information here shortly about if Alan was able to wrap up that number 1 spot or if that's still up for grabs. We've been trying to figure that out. There's a lot going on up here to, kind of put some time together to figure that out for you guys. So again, if you're watching at home, make sure you drop real quick who you want to see win of the 4 that we have left. Again, Chad Anderson, Casey Rodriguez, Mike Steele, and Troy Manners. Who you're rooting for, where you're rooting from. Love to give you guys the shout-outs. And as we get into these last 3 battles, to set who's going to walk away with the W in round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Quick shout out from Facebook, Denise Witt, rooting for Casey Rodriguez to get the win in round number 4. Quick shout out to Zach Albrecht for joining us on the stream. Good buddy of mine. When are you going to bring out the Camaro to do some drifting, brother? So again, you know, just quick message to you guys here. If you're watching at home or you're here at the Speedway, you own a business, you're in the automotive industry, any of those things, you want to be a part of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series or just a part of Lake Erie Speedway, those opportunities are plenty available for you. If you'd like to get involved with sponsoring the Speedway or the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, please shoot us a message. We'd love to help you figure out how you can be a part of it and sponsor either this series or another series. You can sponsor individual events. You can have all kinds of advertising here at the Speedway as we get ready to roll with Chad Anderson and Casey Rodriguez.
Alrighty, the lights are on, the lights are off. Casey Rodriguez and Chad Anderson. Chad Anderson with the lead, Casey Rodriguez with the chase, putting the pressure on. Into outer zone 1, doing a phenomenal job keeping it right on the wall. Casey Rodriguez really applying the pressure there in outer zone 1. Lots of smoke.
Oh! Casey applying the spicy
getting
chase.
Real close there. Now we're into outer zone 3, and I tell you what, these guys are stacking it up. This is exactly what we came to see. Phenomenal lead run, phenomenal chase run. Let's give it up for these guys.
Casey doing exactly what he needed to do in the chase. We haven't quite seen that yet here in round number 4 where somebody was able to initiate, you see here on the replay, initiate, maintain that proximity, and apply the pressure to the lead driver. Chad giving him an awesome lead to do that too. Oh man, what a beautiful, beautiful lunge into the door there and outside 2. And then into outside zone 3, I think we're even going to get a little rub here. Oh, nope, not quite. You definitely couldn't fit a block of cheese in there, though. So that one was a good one. That one was great.
Shout out to Jacob Gettins at ZZX Digital.
So who's going to be heading back to the trailer or the jam session? Who's going to be going on to battle for the win here of round number 4? Casey Rodriguez out front, Chad Anderson and Chase. Chad unable to initiate the way that Casey did, now sucking up the proximity into this transition to outside 2. Chad does a good job of closing the proximity in 2. Super aggressive transition to 3. Casey throwing down a solid lead, now starting to pull away a little bit here from Chad Anderson. And spitting fire out the back. Everybody put your hands together for Casey Rodriguez and Chad Anderson.
That's going to be a hard one for the judges.
This one's going to be a tough one to call here. I mean, both guys doing exactly what they needed to do. We got some comments. Squiggly Noodle out here again. Zach commenting in about his thoughts on which way this is going to go. John commenting in on both ways. Decision is in a heated battle. Casey Rodriguez will advance over Chad Anderson. Now, who will be up against Casey Rodriguez to take the number 1 spot from round number 4? Mike Steele, Troy Manners, both extremely talented drivers, very well-built platforms to compete in. V8 power under the hood of the S14 for Mike Steele. JZ power under the hood of that S14.5 for Troy Manners.
And they're off. Let's see here. Oh, Mike still having a little bit of trouble with initiation there. Manners looking like he's really laying it down. Lots of smoke there, lots of speed. Big angle into outer zone 2 as they carry through into outer zone 3. Looks like Manners got the car dialed in pretty well. Mike's still having a little bit of trouble keeping up. And through the finish line. What do you think about that run, Ben?
Yeah, you know, Troy Manners out front, calm, cool, and collected, doing exactly what he needs to do in the lead position. Mike Steele, you know, I got to figure he left a little bit to be desired here, especially after the battle we just saw. He initiates, has a little bit of a hard time here. Like I said, that banking really adds a lot of grip. So do I drive down the bank and stay in the throttle? Oh, I didn't see that live. Maybe a straight in there in the chase position from Mike Steele from outside zone 1 to outside zone 2. So maybe a big deciding factor there in the first leg of this battle. Again, I'm not a judge, so we'll leave that up to the judges, but certainly looked that way on the replay. So the roles reverse. Mike Steele out front now, Troy Manners in chase. Mike Steele with a beautiful livery on that S14. Troy Manners, S14.5, spicy as they make them. So through the chicane they go. Mike Steele out front, Troy Manners in chase. Manners initiates right at the rear corner of Mike Steele. So has a good bit of proximity here through outside zone 1. Mike Steele did not fill all of outside zone number 1 how Troy Manners did. Into outside zone number 3, both drivers dropping a tire out of outside zone number 3, and Troy Manners applying the pressure on the way out.
Phenomenal lead run, phenomenal chase run. I mean, you can't have a good chase run without having a good lead run, Ben.
Yeah, so we'll see here, but it looked like, you know, overall, lead and chase combined, it looked like Troy Manners maybe had a little bit of an edge here over Mike Steele. Mike Steele struggled a little bit there in the chase position, and then also Steele in the lead in outside zone number 1, just not able to fill outside zone number 1 the way that Manners did. So decision is in. Troy Manners will advance over Mike Steele. So our final is set. Casey Rodriguez versus Troy Manners for that number 1 spot of round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Moty's.
Alrighty, so we are going to have a third and fourth place battle for this event. It's going to be Mike Steele and Chad Anderson. So we're just going to, if you're watching at the live stream, we're going to do a quick fly through the pits here. And you're going to see the pits are a little dead. Not typically how we have it for like our Matt's Erie events. The Matt's Erie events, you can barely park a truck or trailer here. I mean, it just gets so packed out, you know. I mean, last time I want to say we had 186 registered drivers. So not typical to see here, but, you know, these are all competition drivers, so not all of us are you know, at this driver level to be able to come out here and throw down with these boys. So we have a select few people out here that are, you know, really doing a great job putting it down and driving really well. So we appreciate all of you guys coming out. We got guys coming out here from Canada, Ohio, New York, Michigan, PA. We got guys coming out from all over the place. So we appreciate you guys coming out, and everyone's doing a phenomenal job.
As you take a look, you can see this is my drift car right here on the stream. Baja Blast colored, Taco Bell 90s themed 240. Beautiful, beautiful facilities here at the Lake Erie Speedway. Plenty of seating, bathrooms, showers, food, everything that you could think of. Tire machines, a water pit to cool down your tires. You know, all that good stuff that AJ Moore and the Lake Erie Speedway provide for us drifters here. You know, that really puts this place, you know, just one click above a lot of the other tracks that are around the United States even, you know, let alone this area. So really awesome place. As we're taking a look at our tech barn here, this is where you can find our tire machines. We got air compressor. We got all that stuff, a welder. Basically anything that can stop you from drifting in a long drift weekend, we've got it here to combat it. So really great job. And again, shout out to Lake Erie Speedway and AJ Moore, the general manager, for everything that they do for us here in the Great Lakes ProAm Series and Drift PA Ohio, New York. There's AJ right there on the live stream next to the golf cart. So we take a walk back towards track, our on-off ramp here. You can get a good idea of some of the banking here at the Speedway. I know it doesn't look quite as severe on the live stream, but there is a good bit of banking to the Speedway. Joyce, thanks for giving a shout out to AJ. He is the man. He's like a second father to me, man.
Yeah, without AJ, none of this would be possible. So shout out to AJ Moore. We really appreciate all your efforts. And Tanya, of course. Shout out to Prop Productions for the media for tonight. Shout out to everyone that's out here supporting us. Shout out to Scott Petty.
Shout out to us.
Shout out to the chicken sandwiches from the Rusty Wheel. What's going on?
What's up, babies? Shout out chicken sandwich. Shout out Rob.
Shout out to Rob in the tower. Unfortunately, he does not have a chicken sandwich. We got to get this man a chicken sandwich.
Oh, it's your time to shine, brother. It's your time to shine. We got one more shout out here.
Oh, we got shout out to the track crew. When you wide your car into the wall, man, these are the guys that are coming here to save the day for you. You know, we get the car off the track safely and efficiently, quickly, so we can continue our night. You know, we really couldn't do it without these guys. Sometimes you just have a bad day, throw the car into the wall, you know, your wheel falls off, you forgot to tighten it, your buddies loosen your lug nuts while you're drinking at night. Who knows? Whatever happens, you know, these guys are here to save the day. We appreciate all of you for coming out.
See if we got our track Osprey here. See this big, big nest up here on top of the light pole. Absolutely phenomenal drone work from our drone operators here. Doesn't look like there's anything in the nest right now, but typically we got a couple of big birds, couple of little birds up there. Seriously, Osprey, they're just massive, and we've seen some really cool stuff from that too. Got a quick comment here from Michael Corelli. Shout out to Euphoria Drift Team. Also to Valera AJD. Andrew Donaldson snapping that fire with the camera.
Yo, shout out to Andrew Donaldson, man. He is the man. He has got some insane footage of my car. That guy is just he's phenomenal with the camera. Phenomenal person.
Yeah, I mean, I specifically had him take pictures of my gender reveal, which I did here with the drift car with some colored tire smoke from some tires from Australia. And man, the pictures that he took are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he was able to get the burnout. He was able to get reactions from me and Emily and my father-in-law. Just absolutely talented behind the camera. So Butters chatting in. Again, can't give enough love to AJ Moore. So he says, shout out AJ Moore and Madhouse Drift Team. Madhouse Drift Team been going through it here at the end of the season between Butters and Jordan and the wreck that they had here at the last event. So hope you guys are able to get it back together and, you know, back out for Smash a Lantern or whatever the plan is. And a huge shout out to the rest of our media guys, you know, guys and girls. 454 Media with Gary, Julie Rock, Katie McMillan, you know, everybody. Brian Stoneham.
Stoneham. I don't know if you saw me before with the camera, man. I think I have a future in photography. I basically stole Gary's very expensive camera from him, and I was like, yo, let me try this out. And I got a couple good photos of Gary, a couple good photos of all the other homies. Made everyone smile nice and big, as you should for a photo.
So we're getting ready to set who's going to take the third and final podium position. That battle is going to be between Chad Anderson and Mike Steele. Chad Anderson out front and all Bobby's crew battle for the third and final podium position. Chad Anderson out front, Mike Steele and Chase. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. These guys both are on Bobby's crew, so I hope Bobby's watching.
Don't talk about Bobby, that's what they say. Chad Anderson laying down a heater of a lead run so far. Oh, Mike Steele, a crazy advance there into outside zone number 2, sucking up the proximity. Outside zone number 3. These guys putting on a show for you guys at home and those of you at Lake Erie Speedway. How's about it? Bobby's crew, Chad Anderson and Mike
Phenomenal
Steele.
Run.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we had talked about that a round or two ago about, you know, guys being familiar with driving with one another. And, you know, you see it right here, you know, the level of trust between these guys, especially when Mike Steele lunges into outside zone number 2, you know. He's just so comfortable with what Chad's going to be doing here. So huge lunge right here, and he's confident in it. So see what happens here on the back half. Good chase, good lead. So Mike Steele going to have to throw down a really solid lead run here out front of his teammate, Chad Anderson, to try to secure this third and final podium spot. Mike Steele out front, Chad Anderson and Chase. Chad Anderson has a lot more proximity here than what Mike Steele had in outside zone number 1, but Mike Steele doing exactly what he needs to do in the lead. Mike Steele a little bit wide in outside zone number 2. Anderson applying the pressure here all the way through outside zone number 3, trying to repaint the back half of that 240. Everybody put your hands together for Chad Anderson and Mike Steele.
These guys definitely know how to drive. I feel like everyone on Bobby's crew, every time I see a video from Bobby's crew, they're just all phenomenal drivers. They have no lack of talent on that team.
I'm sorry. I still just really want to know who Bobby is and why it's Bobby's crew.
We may never know. Maybe
I don't
that's the
think
greatest
we
kept
will.
secret.
I don't think we'll ever know. At this point, I'm doubtful that Bobby even exists.
Bring out Bobby.
We want Bobby.
Looks like Anderson is going to take the win. Chad Anderson with the win.
So Chad Anderson going to take down that third and final podium position. Mike Steele coming home in fourth subsequently of that battle, as Casey Rodriguez and Troy Manners start to get their tires warmed up. This is the final call on the live stream. Who's taking the medal home with them? Well, really all three of them are taking medal home, but who's taking home the gold medal of the three of them? We want to hear from you. Who are you rooting for, or who do you think's going to win if you're not rooting for anybody? Get your votes in on the poll here on YouTube.
Yeah, let's get in the chat here. Who do we think is going to win? Casey Rodriguez or Troy? Who's it going to be?
Benji Schultz says Casey Rodriguez. Joyce Loringer says Casey Rodriguez.
2 votes for Casey so far. Another vote for the Hawk.
So pretty split decision on YouTube about who's going to win. Casey Rodriguez currently sitting at 67% over Troy Manners. The people have spoken. Now it's time for the drivers to speak. Casey Rodriguez out front. Troy Manners. Who's taking home the bragging rights and the win in round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series? Troy Manners painting the door through outside zone number 1 of Casey Rodriguez. Casey would be painting outside zone 1, but he's white too. Through outside zone 2, Troy Manners begins to apply the pressure to outside zone 3. Casey able to pull away a little bit here from Troy. So a solid lead run from Casey Rodriguez. Troy Manners doing everything that he can to maintain the proximity. See what happens as the roles flip here. He's white. The wall's white. We're white. Oh, brother. Canceled.
That's right. Me and Josh Estep up here said a lot worse before we got legitimatized. We were saying some bad shit up here. Yeah. Yep. We've come a long way.
I remember a lot of F-bombs and stuff.
Yeah, talk about glizzies and shit. Goblin glizzies. All righty, Troy and Casey, let's switch it up. Let's see what we got here. Troy's going to lead. Casey's going to chase. Let's see. Casey applying the pressure there out of zone 1. Real close. Holy Toledo.
Oh,
and a little bit of contact there, but they're going to keep it going.
So interesting what the judges will have to decide there in outside zone 2. You know, it seemed like the contact didn't really upset Troy Manners when it happened, but subsequently after ends up shutting it down. So kind of forces Manners, we'll see right here, kind of forces Manners off track. So, I mean, you got to figure that Casey's totally at fault there. I mean, it's that area of the track is a decel zone, but it just makes me wonder if, you know, they're kind of through that decel zone when it happens. Yeah, let's throw up a quick replay here. See what happened here one more time. Because that decel zone is going into outside zone 2. Yeah, right, and so they're already, you know, into outside zone 2. Right here, you're in the decel zone. Bam. Yep. Okay, so tough to see, you know, if Troy's still on the brakes here or not.
That is a tough one. Do one more replay, if you can. Let's see. We're going to check it out one more time.
Everybody's clocking in here in the chat.
Everyone look real close. Let's hear in the chat what you think.
Some people saying Casey. Some people saying one more time.
All right, here they go into outer zone 2. Contact.
It's just so hard to tell through the smoke if he's on the brakes or not.
It is super difficult to tell.
And I mean, rightfully so, you know, Casey being real aggressive there, you know, trying to make the statement of making himself a clear winner, you know, in the chase position. So see what unfolds here.
Alrighty, so they've come to a decision. We're just going to line them all up here under the Lake Erie Speedway bubble archway.
And just to be clear for you guys on the live stream, so no one more time battle. The judges have decided that one of those guys will win and one of those guys is going to finish second. So we're going to get everybody set up over there and go through our 1, 2, 3. We already know our 3 is Chad Anderson. So I'm probably good to say like that secured Alan Boss, right? Okay, so I'm hearing from, you know, our upper level guys here in the Great Lakes ProAm series, with the round being completed the way that it is completed, Alan Boss will be the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series champion for 2023 and will be receiving his Pro Spec license. So congratulations to Alan Boss on winning the overall for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And, you know, all of us here and everybody, I'm sure, all up and down this coast going to be rooting for you to succeed in Pro Spec competition. So if you're over there in the pits and you see Alan Boss, make sure you give him a huge congratulations on his Pro Spec license and winning the series.
You as well. It's been a pleasure. Alrighty, we're just getting ready here to announce our third place winner.
Yeah, get close. Close. Getting the drone moved in here just a little bit for you guys. So, in round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series presented by Moty's, your third place finisher, Chad Anderson.
Coming in second place, Casey Rodriguez.
And with that, your round 4 winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, Troy Manners. Everybody put your hands together real quick for those 3 guys and everybody that competed all year long in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. These guys really threw it down this year, putting on an absolute show. Everything came down to the final round this year for who was going to walk away with what. And again, let me reiterate, if you see Alan Boss down there, make sure you give him a huge high five and congratulate him on winning the overall points and getting his pro spec license. I'm trying to figure out right now exactly where the shuffle is of the 1, 2, 3. I know Alan secured that number 1 spot. Trying to see who got the 2 and 3 spot and who's going to be walking away with Link ECUs. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors, Moty's, Link ECU, Formula Drift at the Speedway, Pro Waste, Jamestown Mattress, Marquette Savings Bank, Hallman Chevy. Again, make sure that you drop in. We're going to see some burnouts here from our top 3 finishers. So let you guys just listen and see that for a minute. So taking a look back at our bracket here in case you missed it or you didn't hear me. Finishing first in round number 4 is going to be Troy Manners. Second, Casey Rodriguez. Third, Chad Anderson. Fourth, Mike Steele. And again, Alan Boss will be receiving his Pro Spec license as the champion of the 2023 Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And I'm sure he probably has every intention of doing just that, as he's been spending the last couple of years competing in everything he can. I mean, look at the amount of smoke from this burnout, man. I mean, Grant, that drone's pretty high up there in the sky, but, I mean, basically just smoked out the whole property. Even the track, the pit area, everything. So, again, just want to give a shout out to all these drivers and their dedication to, getting out here from all over this side of the coast, coming to compete, putting on the show that they put on, competing at the level that they do, and all those people that make that possible. Everybody from Drift, PA, Ohio, New York, everybody that's been a part of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series this year, and, even the last 2 years, really, because, we kind of built to what we have here today to bring Formula Drift on board and bring these great sponsors on board. You always see throughout the live stream here, Lake Erie Speedway driven by Pro Waste in everything that they do to give us, a place to drift here at Lake Erie Speedway and all the great improvements that are made. So, everything's been really, really awesome, the way that things have progressed here for drifting at Lake Erie Speedway, and really unique racetrack here in this part of the country to offer us, such a high level of this sport right in our backyard.
And with that being said, I think it's time for Ben and I to sign off. So we appreciate everyone coming out. We appreciate everyone signing into the live stream. And with that said, have a great night. If you're going to come out for our Special Inter Drift event. I believe it's the 14th and 15th of October. So we're going to be getting our cars ready for that. If you want to come see some grassroots driving, come on out. We appreciate it. Have a great night, everyone.